I do want to just kind of give you a little bit of what the district clerk does. Again, I'm Lisa David, and when I began in 1981, we were up in the courthouse on the second floor now, which is Commissioner's Court. And when I came in, there were only 3 in the office. I was the 4th one hired, and that was in 1981. I served I'm still in the district clerk's office, and when my boss retired in 2007, I was sworn into office after an election, so I've been your district clerk since 2007. So next week I'll be in the county for 44 years. So if that doesn't tell you I love this county, I don't know what does. So I said when I started we had 3. I was the 4th. Today I have 36 employees. And with those 36 employees, we do all the work that you've heard about this morning. We have our 6 district courts, so I serve the district courts. I also serve the 3 county courts at law that have family law jurisdiction. So my clerks in the office, I have AG clerks, which we handle attorney general cases. I have criminal intake, so we take all the felony cases in. We have civil and family intake. We also do e-file now. Long ago when I came into the office, our office was just full of file cabinets, full of paper. And when the Supreme Court mandated electronic filing, starting back in about 2007, we had to start or 2000, they talked about it. And then all of a sudden they decided a few years back that Supreme Court said, we're going to do electronic. So now you have to e-file. If you're an attorney, if you're representing yourself, you can either bring it in paper or you have to send it through the state system, the Texas e-file system. So everything comes through electronic. There's standards that we have to go by to accept any filing. So I have clerks that are taking in filings. And believe it or not, the attorneys, sometimes they do work on the weekend. So when we come in on a Monday, our queues are full. So we work anywhere from about 1,000 to 1,500 envelopes a week. In those envelopes can be many documents. It's not just one document per envelope. So we're pretty busy because we have to prepare all that paperwork because as the district clerk, I'm the registrar custodian of the records of the judiciary. So I keep all the documents, the pleadings. We start the cases to get the court going, and then we dispose of those cases. And in disposing of those cases and filing of those cases, that's where our job comes in with OCA, the Office of Court Administration, because we are the ones that send in all the reports after we get everything in the system. We tell the system to print out this report that goes to the Office of Court Administration, and then that's when legislature comes into deciding, do you have enough, workers? Do you need another court? Blah, blah, blah. So, and they have found that, yes, we need another court. I am your jury manager. You're very welcome if you've gotten a summons here lately. Actually, we just went through the jury reconstitution because they do it in March, but in late December, they will reload the jury system that we have through Tyler. And we began this jury system back in COVID. We had to figure out a way to get jurors in because during COVID, we were one of the few counties that still continued what little we could do on a jury trial. It was a system we put in place so that we would not have to call in all of our juries at one time. We used to call them down in the jury call room, and and you would be in there for most of the morning. It usually held around 300. Sometimes we would stuff about 350. We had the fire marshal come in one day and told us we couldn't have people sitting on the floor, so we kind of had to look at other ways to handle it. So now with this jury system, you'll get your jury summons, and then at a later time, you're going to get another email that says, you're going to get your jury summons, and you have to fill that summons out within 10 days because you need to get that filled out and in the system, because when we go in, and if Judge Brookmiller needs a jury, then we need to be able to say, okay, jury system, give me 80 jurors. So it's going to go pull all of those jurors out that have qualified. And we need those qualifications in there at that time. We usually pull about 5 to 6 weeks out to give everybody time to plan, for us to plan for juries. And so once we get those jury qualifications back and we have assigned a jury pool, then we can send an email that says, you're now to report on this day, and then we have our clerk set up. So you report to that courtroom instead of a large room down in the basement waiting to see where you're going to go for that day. So we have felt that this is more efficient. It helps our citizens. It moves it faster. We have the way to communicate now that says, the jury canceled, do not report. Whereas before you just had to show up and we had to tell you at the door, you can go home now, which was a bad situation when we've got people coming from all across the county. And we also had people that might work the night shift down in Austin and came straight up to jury. They'd been up all night, but they wanted to come in because Williamson County is known for one of the best jury rates of showing up. When I go to conferences, they're amazed when I tell them how many we get and that we don't have the issue. There's many that they have to bust a panel because they don't have enough jurors. We also call out for the grand jury as well. It's a process, but I have a great team. We, as I said, we handle the Attorney General, which does child support. I have a juvenile clerk. We attend juvenile court. And I provide clerks for each courtroom on criminal days because it's so busy. The judge is moving cases quickly. She has a court administrator. We have a clerk there that has to take care of the paperwork. That's about the only time we really have paperwork because the defendants are actually in there and they have to sign and they have to deal in the paperwork. Then we come in and we put it in the system. We have, I don't throw away anything. They could have told you that if you ever looked at my basement. They made me get rid of all my old paper that was left from the previous district clerk because she really threw away nothing. And we had a big preservation project that everything is pretty much has been digitized. I have several books that have been preserved. The Dan Moody case that was done years and years ago is now in a binder that is fireproof. It's beautiful. We were one of the top 21 historical cases in the state of Texas, so they did that for free for me. And we also made disc on that case, so I've provided it to libraries, I've provided it to schools and so forth for research. And we have old minute books. It's amazing. I mean, if I had the spare time that I could, just to go back and look at those books. It's in the beautiful calligraphy handwriting, old from the 1800s. One day I was trying to find something. I had naturalization papers, and then they got transferred to Nancy's office, so she handles those. But we were actually over in the old courthouse, and I was trying to help a lady find when her grandparents came over, from Czechoslovakia. Well, it just so happened upon, while I'm looking through it, I found when my husband's grandparents came from Czechoslovakia and docked in Rockport, or not Rockport, but down around Corpus Christi. So, I mean, we have everything. Nancy doesn't throw away anything, nor do I. We had, one lady had gotten adopted back in the early 1900s. And believe it or not, I still had her adoption papers. We have several people that come in. We have a public access terminal, but we also have those books for people that want to come in and look at cases or are looking at, family history. If they kind of have an idea of when it happened, give me a name and I can always look it up, and we have that case on microfilm, or we've transferred the microfilm now to digital, so I can pull that up. We had a guy that wanted to see when his grandpa had the fight down when it was the old days down in the bar here in Georgetown, and I think he had stolen his goat and he went and beat him up at the bar and, had an assault, and we had that case. So I am here to serve the citizens, and I enjoy my job. Although my office is secured when you come back in the back, I always tell anybody they're more than welcome. Give me a call. We can always, you can come in and visit. We have to have it secured because, believe it or not, sometimes we do have some aggressive people that do come in that most of the time, believe it or not, is not criminals. It's the family people that are very upset because you can imagine if you're taking away your children, or your wife just took, or your husband just took everything. Or people that come in because we don't have attorneys that work in my office, so I can't give them legal advice. As much as I would love to, they come in and say I'd like to get a divorce, and they think you can just sign up on a legal pad and I send it over to the judge. There's statutes and documents that have to be followed. And I don't have those forms because I'm not an attorney, so I cannot prepare forms. So we give them the resources to get what they need done. But I try everything in the world for my office to be the last stop, because I know how it is when you go into an office and it's foreign to you and you're sent to 3 or 4 different floors and they don't know. So I'm always here to help. And if you call, I actually have somebody that really answers the phone. We don't get the dial one and that, because that just ticks me off as well. So I think that comes from my old time, just from being here, and I know how it was long ago, and I do keep some of the old processes with me. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to try to keep it short. I'm happy to answer questions if you have any, but I'm just right across the hall on the first, well, not right, we're in the second floor. I'm on the first floor, the first door in on your right. So anytime you're in, I welcome you to come in, visit, and I can show you around. And that's all I have for today. Any questions?